It's Clyde Rocksinger here. Now, I've been working on this quick release, this contraption for my power supply here, and where this lid connects on the front, what I'll do is have it sitting in recesses so it slides out, so it has runners where it slides into. It's got to have a thing coming up at the front here, and what I want it to do is push against that lid on a slight angle, like maybe as small as 1 degree. And so when this thing goes down, it's got to clear that height of the lid when you push the thing down, and when it comes up, it's got to push up against the lid to make it nice and snug so it doesn't rattle around. I could do it just with a little spring if you had a custom. See, we I think are a bit we're a bit spoiled. We get a lot of things designed for us. When you go to school, they'll give you a way to do things and it'll seem logical, but it's quite easy to tell you how to do this after you've made 300 models of it. And that's what they do. Some engineering place will make something for 15 years and they'll know how to explain something in a really simple way. But when you're creating a function, there is no simple way. Now all I want to do is get that to drop down the height of that lid, and look how complicated of a contraption it is. It's amazing. Now this in actual fact works. If you look at this, see how it's pulling it down? It works. This one works as well, but it's too tight, I can't get it to return. But it does work very well. But also I'm going to have bearings underneath this thing here. So I've got a skate bearing in there at the moment, which is overkill. But I'll just go for plain bearings, and I might even have to try and find some way of putting a shiny surface, screwing a shiny surface on the runner here, so that when the thing rolls on it, it's got a shiny surface and it's got less friction. This is the spring tension, and this worked incredibly well. It's sandwiched together so that it doesn't spread apart, and that's got 2 kilo tension on that. That's extremely good. No play in it. That's lovely. Nice range of action. So that's successful. So that's working. That's your spring tension, and that in actual fact is that's a simulation of. That's supposed to be a spring tension forcing against the contraption. So obviously this has to be redesigned. It has to be fitted to the lid, and the lid has to be drawn up, and then I have to get different configurations for holding the other bits on. But although they make it look simple when you design a new function, it's not simple. You're going to come up, like when the Wright brothers developed aeroplanes, they were using paper mache and bits of rope and hand lacing it on this thing, and then flying like 200 feet above the ground in this thing. It's like you design something yourself, jump off a building and see if it stops you from slamming into the ground and killing yourself. I mean, not only were the old inventors geniuses, but they were also brave men. When you're mucking around with electronics, I had an electrician tell me once, he was a mental patient. This I thought was hilarious, and he said he'd go in there some days and he kind of wasn't there with the medication he was on, and he said he'd have to go in next door to get his screwdriver because it hurt when he put it on something and he threw it over the fence. Electronics is a very dangerous area, but design of anything when you're going into new areas can be dangerous, and you've got to know what you're doing, and that's why I'm doing this. And this is a calculation of how you connect batteries together in series and parallel. What seems like very simple calculations is not simple at all. This is 100% calculus, and as you can see here, power equals V squared over mass divided by. These are calculations I've done previously, and I call them solution papers. So not only do I have to know how to design this thing, but I have to know how to put the batteries in different arrangements. I have to be able to calculate the power. You can't have it melting and catching on fire, because you don't want somebody coming, you'll set my face on fire and I'm selling you for $10 million. Yeah, right. So you don't really want your designs to be dangerous, so you've got to know what you're goddamn doing. So it's not just a matter of getting the mechanical function to work, I've got to make sure that this electrical circuit is sound and that it's not dangerous, and also so that it's versatile, so you can do stuff with it. I want to put a little LED, I want to put a voltmeter, I want to put loaded and unloaded, I want to have a little digital circuit in there. So yeah, this is going to be quite comprehensive, but this is design and this is the real thing. This is, you know, you might think, oh, I know an easy way to do that, but you'll find that somebody told you how to do that 20 years ago and you just forgot. I mean, people tell you how to do things, I just do it like that. Well, you might do it like that, this is the way I do it. I'm moving a shaker, I'm doing cutting edge here, and I might find that I'll come up with a connection that somebody might use, and if you want to use it, you go right ahead. AES is free. That's the way. See the way I do my diagrams? It said it was a dynamo driving a furnace, and so I logically worked it all out. And the funny thing is when you see it like that, you realise that even though it's AC, the actual power being generated by the heat element has nothing to do with the electronics. It's a completely separate component altogether. And even though the dynamo might be knocking out a fair bit of power, the thermal energy that's being created has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the power source. It can be done by many things. So that's an interesting circuit, that. And so putting it visually like that, it makes it a lot easier to understand. Shazza, there's a secret meaning to that. The girl that plays Shazza comes across as an idiot, but actors are not idiots. They've got to be quite good. They've got to read a lot of scripts and stuff. And the hidden meaning there is it's just because she acts stupid doesn't mean she is. And I like the little fluffy dolls, so that's a bit cool. And usually women, if you hear the mouth on Shazza, oh my God, she comes from an era where that was written in an era and in a place where I was from, the western suburbs in Footscray, and that was my life. And I used to talk like that. I used to have a mouth like that. And you'll find the girls who talk like that have had terrible, hard lives. But when you get to know them, they're really lovely people, but they just had horrible, horrible lives. And so I called her Shazza. I can't really use the girl because she's probably got a $1 million lawyer working for her. So I've called the little doll Shazza, but the implication is just because a girl might have a mouth doesn't necessarily mean she's a horrible girl. It just means she's had a horrible, hard life, and there's a really lovely girl underneath all that. So a bit of a secret meaning there. But yeah, design's not always what you think it is, and I would love to be able to just do it in one function, but I don't think that's going to happen. But it's going alright. Clive Rocksinger, over and out.